Welcome to another wonderful store meeting. I'm Jimmy DeGroat, the jewelry marketing guy, and today we are featuring a special free meeting available to many of you and some friends of our guest today. This is part of our store meeting series, but is also part of our Maximize Christmas series. What we do is we do a weekly store meeting via video, and we train you on everything from sales techniques to product, pricing, and things like that. And we're in the middle of Maximize Christmas. And the goal with Maximize Christmas is you want to be able to maximize every opportunity that comes in front of you for the next 3 months. We know this is our busy season. We know that for so many jewelers across the country, this is the time to make hay. And so I want to empower you and maximize every opportunity that you have in front of you, meaning the customers that are going to be walking through your door, for profitability for your store and profitability for you as salespeople as well. So today I've got a very, very special guest. His name is David Geller, and many of you have heard of him. Some of you have not. David and I are passionate about jewelers making money in the business. I think David can speak as well as I can about so many jewelers that basically run a museum. And then wonder why the cash flow isn't good, and wonder why salespeople can't make more money and things like that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about one method that you can utilize every single day in your jewelry store, but particularly for the next 3 months in your jewelry store, and that is maximizing the opportunity with add-on sales and particularly with repairs. Now, David Geller is a guru of the repair and custom business, as many of you know. And so I just want to welcome David right now, and then we'll have him tell you a little bit about his website and his newsletter. So welcome, David Geller.
Thank you, Jim, very much. Excited to be here with you.
Thank you very much. Well, good. Today, in a couple previous meetings, what we did is we touched on how salespeople can grow their sales and also their customer service ability to their customers by not forgetting to do add-on sales. And add-on sales, I think a lot of people, David, perceive as perhaps being pushy, but I don't. I see add-on sales as being a wonderful customer service to a customer, as well as maximizing your profit and making store owners very happy. So let's just start with some ideas that you have for how can we take basic sales and turn up the volume, make our goldsmiths and our store owners happy for profitability.
Well, I'd like to say this. I want you to remind me at the end of this, I have something to tell you about repairs and Christmas, bringing up Christmas. But at the moment, let's chat about an add-on sale for repair. In a typical jewelry store, Jim, the sales staff think repairs are a clerking procedure. In other words, we take it in and give them a receipt and that's it. But the repair department should be as profitable as the showroom is profitable. So I'll use the number. Many stores, the sales staff may not know the gross profit margin from selling product, but they probably all know the word keystone, which means that we will double our cost. So if they have a $500 cost ring, we sell it for $999, $1,000. Well, to tell if the shop is profitable, you can't tell it per job. You'd have to look at an accounting program like QuickBooks or whatever. And you want to see over a period of time shop sales to be double shop cost. Then we can tell if the shop is being profitable. A lot of people in a jewelry store think, well, why should I wait on a customer with a repair? I can make a $5,000 diamond sale. Well, the first thing is they don't make a $5,000 diamond sale. The average sale in a jewelry store is $250 to $500. So let's not get all wound up in $5,000 sales. Second thing is this. If 10 people walk in a store today, Jim, what do you think is the typical number of people coming in for service, whether you charge or not? How many people out of 10 you think come in for service?
I'm going to say at least 5.
Well, from what most people tell me, it's 7.
Okay.
So it's 6 or 7, 60 to 70% of people walking in the store are about service, whether you charge or not.
Right.
I have a ring to repair. Can you check my stones? Can I get my ring clean? I need a watch battery.
Yep.
Whatever it is, 60 to 70% come in on a service call. And if the sales staff kind of stumbles, it makes the customer feel uneasy. So that requires a lot of training. But now we get past the point of just taking in a repair. The customer needs to have terrific customer service. And I'm not talking about, Jim, about being polite. I'm
Right.
talking about what's being done correct. I remember one time I took my car in, I had it fixed, and a couple of weeks later something else happened. And when I went back and complained, the guy said, well, we thought that might be a problem, but we knew that the other repair was a lot of money. We didn't want to scare you. And I said, who are you to tell me how to spend my money? If you had told me about spending more money, it's obvious it would have saved me a lot.
Right, and he wasn't doing an add-on sale there as much as he was servicing you by mentioning that, right? I mean,
But
you
he should
wouldn't
have mentioned it when I was there to begin with.
exactly.
So I'm going to give you for a typical jewelry store, $18,000 to $40,000 free,
Okay,
and this is just one add-on. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Typical jewelry store charges to make a ring smaller. They typically don't charge to check and tighten stones.
Right.
Now, the typical jewelry store might call the customer and say, lady, out of your 10 diamonds in your ring, one is loose, we need to charge you X. But here's the thing. What happens, Jim, if they size the ring smaller? Let's say they get $39 to size the ring smaller. None of the stones get loose while they size it. They're not loose when they come in. 6 weeks later, a stone falls out. The customer is going to come back in and expect who to pay for it?
You, the jeweler.
The store. Absolutely.
Yep.
So they didn't get paid to check and tighten. And they're going to go, lady, it was fine when I gave it back to you. And she's going to say, you know, I had this ring 12 years. I bring it into your store, and in 6 weeks it falls out. So don't give me that, buddy. Replace it. And that's what typically occurs.
It's definitely the inevitable. I mean, it's Murphy's Law, and it's going to happen. Yep.
So here's the thing. In our price book, this is how we handle it. This is how we handle it in our store. For the $39 sizing smaller, we will check and tighten up to 4 stones at no additional charge, and we will guarantee them for a year. If you have 5 to 20 stones, so let's say you have a 7 diamond eternity band, it's $39. I got my calculator. $39 to make it smaller, and there is an additional $25 to check and tighten all the stones. It's now a $64 sale. So we don't tell them it's 39 plus 25. We tell them to make your ring smaller, it's only $64, and this is what it includes. Number one, the jeweler's going to size it and do such a great job that you're not going to be able to tell where it has been sized. Number two, we're going to check and tighten all the stones in it and make sure they're tight. If any of those little suckers get loose during the year, we'll tighten them at no charge. Any of those little suckers fall out, we'll replace them at no charge. In addition, we're going to refinish the ring and make it look like new, like the day your husband gave it to you. And you can have it next Thursday. Now, you'll find that you'll have about a 90% closing ratio. So let me show you what the $25 does. So I'm going to ask you, Jim, a couple of questions. People listening to this are going to have their own answer. So I don't know if you can answer this. If you can't, I'll give you the answer.
Okay, because I don't have a calculator in front of me. I'm better with people than I am with math.
Okay. Well, what do you think the average jewelry store, how many envelopes do they take in a week for repair? What do you think?
In a week for repair, I'm thinking 20, 25.
Let's use 25.
Okay.
So if they take in 25 a week, at 52 weeks, they're taking in 1,300 jobs.
Okay.
Now, the second question, what percent of those jobs have 5 or more stones in them? Now, before you answer, wedding rings, engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, pendants, necklace, bracelets, what percent of the repairs come in have 5 or more stones?
I got to go with 50 again. Is it higher?
It just depends upon the store. So
Okay.
let's go with 50%. That means that 650 people have the opportunity to use that $25 check and tighten.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you that 70% will say yes without a problem. Oh, $64, great, I'll pick it up then.
Sure.
30% will say, I don't want to pay that much. It's a brand new ring. It doesn't need it. For whatever reason, you would then lower the price to the $39 and tell the lady, we will not check and tighten. We will not guarantee if they fall out. We will not be responsible. You write on the job envelope, no guarantee. Customer did not want to have stones. Check and tighten, okay?
Right. Absolutely.
So now we're going to multiply that times 70%. That's 455 people who would gladly pay the $25. If you multiply that times $25, it's $11,375.
Fantastic.
What do you
Beautiful.
think the average store probably pays out to replace stones that fall out in a year?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, this is a tough question.
That's a tough one. But the thing is, the one thing that's really interesting about that question, Dave, is that not a lot of people attach a cost to that bag of melody that they have sitting there. Or, and they don't wisely attach a cost to their jeweler spending 15 minutes to do that, to quote, throw that stone in.
Exactly.
So
here's the answer.
So tell me about it.
Okay, so the typical jewelry store tells me that giving away free stones that fall out, they typically spend $3,000 to $5,000 a year. I just gave you $11,000. If it cost you $3,000 to $5,000, you still made. You get to keep $6,300.
Right.
What this does for you is this: charging the $25 to check and tighten stones, and that's up to 25 stones. $35 up to 35 stones, $50 up to 50 stones. But that money does two things. Number one, it pays for the jeweler's time to check and tighten them. And number two, it pays for the diamond and gives you a profit on it.
Sure.
So that's what it gives the store on there. Many people believe that it's only 25, let's say a little three-pointer. A three-pointer probably cost, let's say $15 to give the lady a new diamond. Now, the fellow that helped me learn how to price repairs was an accountant I had years ago who was also a watchmaker. Now, this is a very weird human.
Okay.
He's the one that taught me this trick. So I know you probably know the answer to this question. On a financial statement, there's sales, cost of sales, which leaves you gross profit. Out of that, your expenses, and at the very bottom is net profit. So, Jim, the $15 to give a lady a free diamond that fell out of her ring, where does it come out of? Sales, cost of sales, gross profit, expenses, or net profit?
Well, I would take it out of, let's see. I would probably take it out of cost of sales.
You could take it out of cost of sales. The net result is it falls to the bottom and it comes out of net profit.
Right out of net profit. Okay. Sure.
So what do you think? Now, I assume you get to see some financials, some stores. What's the typical American jewelry store net profit as a percentage, the bottom line? What do they make out?
As a percentage, it's a single number.
It's about 4%. You're really good, it's like 8%. So here's the thing that the watchmaker accountant showed me. I used to go, well, it's only $15 to make the lady happy. No, that's not the answer. The answer is how much do you have to do in sales to have $15 left over to give away something for free? Here's the answer. You put $15 in a calculator and divide it by the 4% net profit. The store is going to have to do, the sales staff will have to do an extra $375 in sales to give this lady away a $15 diamond.
Yep.
That's why they must add on the $25 to check and tighten the stones.
Absolutely. And it's one of the things that I like to preach about because especially in cases, David, where we don't have a shop on the premises and so it's out of sight, out of mind, how many times do we give things away that there's no need at all to give them away?
Right.
There's this fear that we're gonna lose the customer or that customer's they're not gonna come back at Christmas and spend $5,000. And so it's definitely something and I'm so glad you're here with us today to bring this these little things every day to awareness, to a top of mind. So it's a beautiful thing.
Your thing about scared that the customer will walk away. Across the country, it doesn't matter what you charge for repair. 90% of the customers will pay what you say. Whatever comes out of your mouth, the customer will pay 90% of the time. And do you know why?
Why?
Because repairs are not price sensitive. Repairs are trust sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what the closing ratio is in a typical store for product?
Again, it's a single digit.
Well, it's typically 3 out of 10 people buy from the showcase.
Yeah.
Now, some of your people, your clients will probably say it's 4 or 5, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the typical American jewelry store, they show 10 people, and 3 buy and 7 leave the store. So I'm always grabbing them by the shirt tail and go, look, $18, $22, $30, $39 size of ring smaller. Pick a number. You're going to sell 90%, so why not choose a bigger number? When you show a customer a ring from the showcase and they leave, well, let me back up, because this is what, if you were to be a fly on the wall, this is what you'd hear. The repair customer leaves. The 1 out of 10 leaves. And the owner and the salesperson goes in the lunchroom and they go, oh my God, we lost that guy. He's going to tell everyone. Business is going to go down the tubes. That repair customer left. We did not sell them. But then you know what they say when the 7 people leave the store after showing them a ring and they don't buy? You know what they say? They'll be back.
You sure?
And they're never back.
No, we know that.
People listening to this should be more concerned about having $500,000 or $1 million in inventory in the case, and 70% of the people leave you with all that stuff in the case than the one lady who leaves because of a jewelry repair price.
Well, you know what, David? I've been in the jewelry business over 15 years, and honestly, while you were talking here, I can't think of any more than maybe 5 times in all those years where somebody has picked their ring up and said, no thanks, I'm going to go take it somewhere else, they're cheaper. In other words, people, from my point of view, I don't think they shop sizing and pricing, do they? Or repairs?
No.
Do people shop repairs? They trust the jeweler, that's their jeweler, that's who they go to.
The stores that get shopped heavily are those in a mall where it's easy to walk across the mall. But for the typical store in a strip center, freestanding building, people don't shop it. We're talking about a small amount for most things, and it's trust sensitive.
Yep. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, another thing too is, I've been to one of your training sessions in the store, and it's been phenomenal. I recommend it to everybody. So if you're wondering, will it pay to have David Geller in your store? I guarantee you, personally guarantee you, it will definitely pay very, very handsomely. But one of the things too that I like to talk about in our store training every week is I like to keep things in bite-sized pieces. And so we work on one thing typically a week. And I like the idea here of perhaps your recommendation of getting the goldsmith out on the sales floor or bring them in if they're out of the store and train people how to do these types of things. And this is a great example that you just gave us today is what does it cost to add on that extra, for checking the stones. What I'm getting at is when we have your training and when you have David in your stores, there's a lot of information there. So definitely record it, definitely videotape it. But also I recommend taking little bite-sized pieces and focusing on one thing a week that you're going to work on, because otherwise it's how many years do you have in it, David? It'll take that long to get this.
I'm 64 and I started this when I was 10 working in my father's wholesale manufacturing business.
Yep.
So I'll do you by 3 times.
Beautiful. So, David, I want to thank you so much. You just gave us, how much did you give us? You gave us $11,000.
Well, you had a low number. The typical store is about 3,000 jobs a year, not 12 or 13. This number typically is 18 to 45,000.
Okay.
And I want to tell you this last thing about Christmas. At Christmas, around the 12th of December, maybe the 15th, we stopped taking in repairs.
Okay.
Because we were big in custom design. All repairs were promised for the 10th of January. So when Christmas was over, we started working on that. But here's your second profit center. On the 10th or 12th, 15th of December, the only repairs we would do for December were at the express pricing, which is 50% more. So if this ring sizing is 64 and the lady wanted to have it to wear during Christmas, New Year's, give it to her daughter, then well, we do offer a express service. You can get it by Christmas. It's only $96. If it was a $39 repair, it would be $58. If it was a $20 charm soldering on, it's $30. We would charge 50% more and allow them to have it between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
On Christmas Day, we had an ad in the newspaper that said, "Was your Christmas gift the wrong side?" And we advertised having chains shortened, watch bands shortened, ring size, because on Christmas Day, everybody opens their present. And it just said, "Express service available." The week between Christmas and New Year's was huge for us, doing while you wait repairs, sizings, and all that, and charging 50% more.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Alrighty?
Beautiful. And I think, too, one of the big things that I got out of this, David, was, you know, we concentrate so much from December 10th to the 25th on product, but this is what you've given us today is a wonderful opportunity for July 2nd and March 15th and, you know, August 3rd, how to really think about the repair department as a real profit center. And I think that's another thing, too, we need to talk about perhaps in a future meeting is how do we make that repair department profit for both the store owner, the repair department, and the salesperson, and everybody's happy, raising the awareness of that rather than just a huge cost to the business. And so I think Christmas can be a very happy time for everybody in the store, according to the way.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you send this meeting free out to all of your subscribers to your mailing list. And I know I love your mailing, and so many times people will call me or email me and say, hey, my cash flow is bad. Well, you and I both know that is a multi-pronged issue, and it's not usually just one thing. So there's so many ways that David can help you, and I ask that you, if you like this video, this is the kind of thing that we talk about every week in our store meeting/training series that anybody can watch. That's all you do is log onto the website, and I usually keep it to a 15, 20-minute meeting. And your staff can either watch it together as a team, or they can watch it on their laptop at home or on their iPhone in a coffee shop. And so it's a great way to keep your staff both accountable and sharp sales-wise and keep your store headed in the right direction, which is profit. So thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much, Jim. I enjoyed it.
All right. And so go to jewelrymarketingguy.com/store meetings right now and sign up for these meetings. And we'll see David Geller again soon.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.